If you're in IT, then you definitely know the feeling, that Patch Tuesday stress, the endless cycle of testing, deploying, and just praying that nothing breaks. But what if you could just automate the entire process? Today, we're diving into Microsoft's answer to all that chaos, Windows Autopatch. It's a cloud service that genuinely promises to end the manual mayhem of updates for good. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to really dig into the pain points of that endless patching cycle. Then, we'll introduce Windows Autopatch as the solution, peek under the hood to see how it works, walk you through a super simple 5-step setup, and then wrap it all up with the real-world advantages.
All right, let's set the scene. For any IT admin, that second Tuesday of the month, Patch Tuesday, can be a source of some serious anxiety. It's this recurring cycle of high pressure and high risk, month after month.
Does this feel a little too real? You're pushing updates to potentially thousands of devices, kind of holding your breath, and just hoping that some critical line of business app doesn't suddenly go sideways? It's this high-stakes manual process that is absolutely essential, but man, is it exhausting.
And yeah, this slide pretty much sums up the headache, right? You're manually creating all your deployment rings, you're struggling with little to no real health monitoring, and you're just drowning in administrative tasks. One bad patch gets through, and you can just forget about your weekend. You'll be knee-deep in manual rollbacks. It is a reactive, time-consuming nightmare.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. What if there was a totally different way to think about this? This is exactly where Windows Autopatch comes in, offering a completely new philosophy for managing your updates.
Now, the most important thing to get here is that Autopatch is a cloud service you enable, not some new server you have to babysit. Microsoft is the one doing the heavy lifting, automating updates not just for Windows, but for Microsoft 365, Edge, and Teams, all using these really intelligent pre-configured deployment rings.
Think of it like a finely tuned assembly line. You're basically handing off the entire process. Autopatch takes care of quality and feature updates, rolls them out across its tested rings, and actively monitors the health of the update. And get this, if it detects a problem, it can even trigger an automated rollback for you. Plus, you get reporting and can even handle driver and firmware updates.
All right, so it sounds great in theory, but how does this thing actually work? You know, under the hood. And, probably more importantly, what do you need to have in place before you can start? Let's get into those technical details.
So here's the 30,000-foot view of the architecture. The Autopatch cloud service is the brain of the whole operation. It uses Microsoft Intune to create and manage all the necessary update policies, which in turn control how the updates from Windows Update for Business are rolled out across those deployment rings to all your devices. Now, before you can flip the switch, there are a few boxes you gotta check. It's nothing too crazy. Your devices need to be managed by Intune and joined to Azure AD. You'll also need Windows Update for Business enabled, the right version of Windows, and of course the necessary telemetry settings configured so the service can see what's happening.
And here's the kicker. You probably already own this. It's not some expensive add-on. It's already included with super popular licenses like Microsoft 365 E3 and E5. So chances are you can start using it right away without paying a dime more.
Okay, so you've checked the list, you've got the license. Now for the fun part, actually turning this thing on. And don't worry, the setup process is designed to be really simple and guided. Let's walk right through it.
It's really just a simple 5-step process. You'll go into the Intune portal, run a quick readiness check to make sure everything's happy, plug in your admin contacts, and then register your devices. Autopatch then creates all the policies for you, and all you have to do is give them a quick review. It's that easy.
So, the real magic behind Autopatch is this concept of deployment rings. Instead of that terrifying big bang deployment where you push an update to everyone at once and just hope for the best, Autopatch rolls it out in these careful, measured stages. It starts with a tiny test ring, then moves to first, then fast, and finally the broad ring for everyone else. So the big question is, who goes where? Well, the strategy here is actually really smart. The test ring, that's for your IT team, your first line of defense. The first ring is for those early adopters or power users who are great at giving feedback. Fast covers a wider slice of users across different departments. And broad is for everybody else once the update has been proven to be stable and safe. So we've seen the problem, we've seen the solution. Now let's really look at the payoff. It's time for a direct head-to-head comparison, the old, painful way versus the new, automated way.
And this really is the core of it, right? It's the old world of manually wrestling with Windows Update for Business policies versus just letting the Windows Autopatch service take the wheel. This is a fundamental shift from high admin effort to almost minimal admin effort.
And boom, here it is, side by side. Look at this. On the left with manual management, you're doing all the work. On the right with Autopatch, it's all automated. Microsoft is validating the rollouts for you, the monitoring is way more advanced, and rollbacks can happen on their own. The result? A massive reduction in your team's workload.
Now, to make sure your rollout is super smooth, here are a few pro tips. When you're just starting out, use manual ring assignments to give yourself more control. Keep your test ring really small, but make sure it includes a diverse set of hardware to catch any issues. And this is a big one. Make sure you don't have any of your own update policies that might conflict with what Autopatch is trying to do.
But, it's also really important to be honest about where Autopatch might not be the best fit. It's not a silver bullet for every single organization. For example, if your company has really strict change freeze windows, or if you absolutely must manually approve every single patch that goes out, then the automated nature of Autopatch might not be for you. And all of this brings us back to the most important question of all. See, the real benefit of Autopatch isn't just about making updates easier, it's about what you get back. It's about reclaiming your team's most valuable resource, their time. Time that could be spent on innovation, on strategic projects, on actually driving the business forward. So really think about it. What could your IT team achieve with all that time back?